Hello, my name is Russell Myers, independent for U.S. President for 2024. I wanted to make a video touching on current economic developments. Now, according to government statistics, wages have increased by 0.4%. Some sources have tried to claim that this is in real wages, meaning you have gained 0.4% in purchasing power over inflation, but that there is absolutely no evidence to that effect. Has your income risen to above inflation? Mine hasn't. Everything keeps costing more and more. But if you just go with the 0.4%, with inflation being at 3%, that means that you have lost 2.6% of your purchasing power. And none of this means that any prices have gone down. That just means the rate at which the prices of things are increasing is slower. You're still paying more, and you will continue to pay more. Meanwhile, there's this claim that the economy added something like 335,000 jobs in January. And, okay, for 10 of 11 months, every time that they claimed that there were these massive gains in jobs, the following month, they very quietly reduced that number by tens of thousands of jobs. As many as one month, I think they reduced that number by 70,000. According to, I think, Bloomberg, even with that number, the 335,000, more than half of those jobs were part-time jobs, which carry no benefits whatsoever. Meanwhile, layoffs have increased by 136% month over month, with most of the layoffs that are occurring being in financial services, which includes banks, investment firms, insurance companies, and so on and so forth. And second is in technology. So much for the idea of artificial intelligence creating jobs. The entire goal of artificial intelligence is to eliminate the very people that are working in artificial intelligence. That's the whole goal, to have AI programming and teaching itself. So none of this makes any sense, and artificial intelligence will also, over time, it's already costing jobs. You've got AI writing articles that you read, creating artwork and music, and you have no idea if music, background music to some popular artist, if their background music was created by artificial intelligence. Artificial intelligence will eventually, eliminate driving, drivers' jobs, taxis, courier services, buses, freight transport, truck drivers especially. So you take artificial intelligence, financial services, and on and on. You're talking about eliminating living wage jobs, and you're creating low wage part-time jobs, and the ultimate result is going to be nothing but low wage part-time jobs, and everybody will be competing for these jobs just to survive if you can, while prices continue to rise and the stock market keeps going up. As these things are happening, you notice layoffs go up 136% in the highest paying jobs, and the stock market hits a record high, historic record high. Just coincidence, right? Now, of the jobs that were created in December, the information has been revealed that 54% of the jobs that were created in December were government jobs at some level, federal, state, city, county. So 54%, more than half of the jobs created, were government jobs. That doesn't speak well for the private market, does it? Anyway, but let's keep going with that. Janet Yellen has now reduced borrowing and intends to continue with reduced borrowing. Now, to a point, I kind of agree with that, because we cannot keep sending our national debt higher and higher. But government spending, federal, state, and local, accounts for 36% of the U.S. GDP, according to the International Monetary Fund, IMF. Reducing spending means that we will reduce GDP. Meanwhile, if you include federal, state, and local and municipal debt, the U.S. debt to GDP ratio is at over 135%. So, yeah, if you reduce spending, you're also going to eventually reduce the number of government jobs, which reduces consumer spending, and on and on. All right, so reducing borrowing. The intent here is also to reduce the yields on U.S. Treasury bonds, which will, in turn, reduce purchases of U.S. debt. The only reason the purchases of U.S. debt had gone up domestically, mostly, because of the returns on Treasury bonds. You reduce the yield on those bonds, and where do you send it to? Oh, the stock market. As Treasury yields go down, you again wind up with the stock market going to record highs. So, if bond purchases decline to less than the debt being issued, we can expect another round of quantitative easing in which the Federal Reserve will start printing more money and buying assets directly to drive up the value of those assets, such as stocks, bonds, mortgage-backed securities, and so forth and so on, which will devalue the dollar. Even as the stock market goes up, the dollar will be devalued, debased, increasing real inflation as your dollar buys less. You may still have the same amount of income, but effectively your dollar buys less. Joe Biden also has canceled any new LNG, liquefied natural gas exports, while there are several liquefaction stations that are not yet completed. So all the investments in those locations might just be a waste. The investors may just start losing money because of it. Another effect of this, and by the way, Qatar has suspended LNG exports due to the Red Sea crisis. The effect of all of this is going to be, if you look at Europe, they're paying roughly 400% more for energy right now than they were in 2021. So inflation in Europe is still completely out of control, unemployment rising, and they are deindustrializing. Sure, we can move, they can move their production to the United States, and they can still keep producing things at somewhat lower price, although they're going to have to pay to build facilities. But who are they going to sell it to? You've got more and more people here that competing for low-wage jobs. You've got Europe with increasing inflation and deindustrializing, reducing their number of jobs, and so forth and so on. Who are you going to sell these things to? You're not going to sell them to China, the manufacturing capital of the world. You're not going to sell them to Russia. You're not going to sell them to countries in the Middle East that you're bombing. Who are you going to sell these things to? You can produce all you want, but if nobody's buying it, why are you going to produce it? So this is, a zero-sum game. So besides, there is the trust in this that Biden promised Europe that we would supply them with energy. No matter how you feel about natural gas, we promised them that we would supply them with energy to sustain their markets, to sustain their industries, and so forth and so on. But no, we're not doing that. In fact, Biden is giving subsidies or tax breaks to European countries that move their productions to the United States. Why is Europe still trusting us at all? It doesn't matter. You throw the trust out the window and let's go with common sense. If they can't afford to buy things, then what's the point in us producing anything? This is a spiral downward. It doesn't work. We're not going to be selling this stuff to South Africa or China, the Middle East, South America. No, these things are not going to happen. This brings me to a very particular point, which is a sore point for me. Biden, Trump, RFK Jr., all of them are really in the same camp. They believe in what I will term trickle-down economics. do what benefits the people at the top. But you can throw any number of terms at this, and it all means the same thing. Trickle-down economics, supply-side economics, libertarianism, free market economics, they're all the same thing. What it means is benefiting the people at the top and claim that the wealth is going to trickle down. We've been doing this for 43 years, since Reagan was in office. Yeah, that's the other term, Reaganomics. And Bidenomics. Just keep on going. All the terms mean the same thing, and they're all based on Milton Friedman Chicago School of Economics, which has the Chicago School of Economics has been trying to make their model work in the basement of the Chicago School of Economics for all these decades, and even their model in the lab, they have not been able to work when you apply it to real-world economics. It is a fantasy. It has no validity whatsoever. Explain to me how something else about them. They all believe in reducing taxes or eliminating taxes in some cases, reducing or stopping money printing. But all of this is supposed to go toward, okay, so let's say we stop printing money, which, okay, great. And then you stop and you don't increase taxes on the wealthiest. All right, so so now you're imposing a limited monetary supply, a limited amount of money. The wealthy are supposed to keep getting wealthier out of this limited pie. The wealthy are supposed to keep getting wealthier. But somehow, magically, the people in the middle class and the people in the lower income classes are magically supposed to have more money to spend. How are the rich going to keep getting richer? And how is every class supposed to keep getting wealthier? How is this supposed, with a limited, static amount of money? The whole idea, money isn't coming in from elsewhere because other countries are having their own financial issues. And more countries are moving away from the United States. So they're spending less. The UAE just established an electronic payment system, a CBDC, with which they demonstrated this by a transaction with China. Saudi Arabia is trading with China, their biggest oil consumer, the biggest oil consumer on the planet, and selling oil in yuan or rial. So there's less money coming into the American system, but magically fewer countries trading less with us, but everybody's supposed to get richer. This is what trickle-down economics, libertarianism, free market economics, supply-side economics, Reaganism, Bidenomics, all of this means the exact same thing, and none of it makes any sense. And by the way, Trump has got we can call it Trumponomics too, because his ideas are exactly the same. So you got Trump, Biden, and RFK Jr. all spouting or working toward the exact same thing. Some of these people think that we should just erase our national debt. Well, what is that going to do to trust from investors, from other countries, from domestic investors in our government? That alone would completely wipe out all trust and all interest in trading with us or having diplomatic relations with us. None of this makes any sense. But they'll keep getting up there and using these terms: freedom, liberty, blah, 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 and trying to convince you that these are good things. If you understand anything, just the most basic ideas in economics, you understand none of this can work. So, I really ask you to take a look at my policies, which are far more realistic, far more progressive. Even if you're conservative, if you look at these policies, you're going to agree with them. So please take a look at them, especially tax reform, stabilizing the economy. Those are two major ones that I want you to look at. They won't take you long. Each one is, if you read it, maybe 5 minutes. I think the videos are a bit longer, but they're very much worth your time. Thank you for watching. Please share this video. Talk about these subjects. If you can afford it, please donate whatever you can to help expand this campaign, and I will catch you in the next one. I hope you have a good day. Thanks for watching. Bye.